So I figured now is the perfect time to introduce you to the Introspection Illusion. And this is from the book You Are Not So Smart, which talks about fallacies and things our brain does that we don't realize. So, according to this book and the studies that it talks about, it says the misconception is that you know why you like the things you like and feel the way you feel. But the truth is the origin of certain emotional states is unavailable to you. And when pressed to explain them, you will just make something up. So, yes, let me read that again. The truth here. The origin of certain emotional states is unavailable to you, and when pressed to explain them, you will just make something up. That's what I did with the empathy thing, I think. I just made up reasons. So now is the perfect time to explain it. So this means you should be skeptical of everyone doing introspection, because, as I will now explain, according to the book and the research that the book cites, let me quote the book here. Believing you understand your motivations and desires, your likes and dislikes, is called the introspection illusion. You believe you know yourself and why you are the way you are. You believe this knowledge tells you how you will act in the future situations. Research shows otherwise. Time after time, experiments show introspection is not the act of tapping into your innermost mental constructs, but instead a fabrication. You look at what you did or how you felt, and you make up some sort of explanation that you can reasonably believe. If you have to tell others, you make up an explanation that you can believe too. Oh, that they can believe too. When it comes to explaining why you like things you like, you are not so smart. And the very act of having to explain yourself can change your attitudes. Okay. So, let me just read this part again. Time after time, experiments show introspection is not the act of tapping into your innermost mental constructs. It's not the act of tapping into your innermost mental constructs, but instead a fabrication. It's basically all of my introspective shit is a fabrication. Much of it. A lot of it. According to this book, the Introspection Illusion. Sorry, my tongue is tied. Let's cite some experiments here that this book, or let's, Okay, let me look for a second here. Wilson constructed an experiment in which people were shown two small photos of two different people and were asked which one was more attractive. They were then handed what they were told was a larger version of the photo they picked, but it was actually a picture of a completely different person. They were then asked why they'd chosen it. Each time the person dutifully spun a yarn explaining his or her choice. The person had never seen the photo before, but that didn't make the task of explaining why he or she preferred it in an imaginary past any more difficult. Okay. Another of Wilson's experiments had subjects rate the quality of jam. He placed before them 5 varieties of jam which had previously been ranked by Consumer Reports as the 1st, 11th, 24th, and 32nd and 44th, I don't think that's important, best jams on the market. One group tasted and ranked how good they thought the jams were. The other group had to write out what they did and did not like about each one they tasted. As with the posters, the people who didn't have to explain themselves gravitated towards the same ones Consumer Reports said were best. The people who were forced to introspect rated the jams inconsistently and had varying preferences based on their explanations. Taste is difficult to quantify and put into words, so the explainers focused on other aspects like texture or color or viscosity, none of which in the end made much difference to the non-explainers. Maybe you understood what I just said. I kind of got lost. Okay. So basically, when thinking about why we are the way we are, why we're thinking what we think and feeling what we feel, and what makes us feel what we feel, we say a lot of bullshit, and we think it's true. So that's why science is important. So that's why I recommend doing research on neuroscience if you want to know something about a subject. And don't just listen to me ramble on. I may point you in some direction, but best bet is to listen to some neuroscientist, because they are at least less biased and are using the scientific method. So there. Introspection Illusion. It's a mind fuck. See ya.